I am Assata Shakur, but I was not always called that. I was born Joanne Deborah Byron, July 16, 1947, in Queens, New York. My family was Southern, rooted in Wilmington, North Carolina. I was raised between the sharp edges of New York streets and the slow burn of Southern segregation. Even as a child, I understood what it meant to be black in America, though I didn't yet have the words. I saw the way white people looked at us. I heard the hush in my mother's voice when police walked by. I watched how black folks carried dignity in their bones, even when the world tried to strip it away. That contradiction, power and pain, all wrapped into one skin, became the soil where I grew. I dropped out of high school, ran away at 17, wandered through different jobs, cities, faces. But I didn't get lost. I was searching. I eventually earned my GED and enrolled at the Borough of Manhattan Community College, then City College of New York. That's when I began to ask, why is my people's history buried beneath someone else's version of the truth? Why is justice always delayed or denied when we seek it? In the late 1960s, the world was shifting. Revolution was in the air. From Watts to Oakland, from Cuba to Vietnam. I marched against the war in Vietnam, stood in solidarity with poor people, with women, with the oppressed. But marching wasn't enough. In 1970, I joined the Harlem chapter of the Black Panther Party. I didn't come for the guns. I came for the people. We ran breakfast programs for children, free medical clinics, political education classes. We taught our people to love themselves in a world that told them they were nothing. But I also saw what the government didn't want the public to see. The FBI's COINTELPRO operation, a secret war. They infiltrated us, sabotaged us, spied on us. They labeled us as extremists, subversives, enemies of the state. The truth? We were young black people demanding food, health, and dignity. But to the American empire, that's revolution. And revolution to them is a threat. I left the Panthers when internal divisions and outside infiltration weakened our mission, but I did not stop. I joined the Black Liberation Army, a group that believed black people had the right to armed self-defense, that we had the right to fight for our survival in a country that had enslaved us, lynched us, and now policed us into cages. They called us militants. They called us dangerous. But tell me, what's more dangerous than a government that kills your leaders, burns your neighborhoods, and blames you for resisting? By 1973, I was already being hunted. I had been charged in several cases, none with real evidence. Bank robbery, kidnapping, attempted murder. I went underground, not because I was guilty, but because I was marked. Then came May 2nd, 1973, on the New Jersey Turnpike. I was in a car with my comrades, Zaid Malik Shakur and Sundiata Akoli. We were pulled over by New Jersey state troopers. They said it was a broken tail light. But that stop was never about traffic. It was a setup. Within minutes, gunfire broke out. Zaid was killed. I was shot twice, once in the arm, once through the clavicle. I raised my hands, told them I couldn't move. They beat me anyway, dragged me bleeding from the car like an animal. They called me a monster. They paraded me in front of cameras like a trophy. But I survived. I was charged with the murder of Trooper Werner Forster, though I never held a weapon that night. In court, they put me in a cage. Literally, a cage inside the courtroom. I was tried by an all-white jury, judged by a system that had already made up its mind. The medical records, the ballistic evidence, it didn't matter. In 1977, they convicted me. Life in prison, plus 33 years. But let me tell you something about a woman who refuses to break. In 1979, with the help of people who still believed in justice, I escaped from Clinton Correctional Facility for Women in New Jersey. I disappeared for a time. And then, years later, I resurfaced in Cuba. The Cuban government granted me political asylum. I've lived here ever since, in exile, in freedom, in truth. They call me a fugitive, a terrorist. But I ask you, what is terrorism? Is it the young black woman demanding rights? Or the government that surveils, imprisons, and kills its own citizens for asking questions? In 2013, the FBI put me on their most wanted terrorists list with a $2 million bounty. They're still trying to capture me, still trying to rewrite my story, but they cannot erase me. Because I am not a myth, I am not a symbol, I am a living, breathing woman who dared to say, we have a right to be free. I am Assata Shakur. I survived. I resisted. I did what I had to do to stay alive and to stay human. And to the young ones listening, read. Question everything, organize. Love your people more than they hate themselves. And never ever let this system convince you that resistance is a crime. It is not. It is necessary. The struggle continues, and I am still here.